Hey guys, welcome back to channel Maybe See. So this video is going to be on the Capricorn new moon as well as the Capricorn solar eclipse. So I pulled a bunch of cards. Well, actually, like the bottom of the deck just like really like intrigued me, and then like every card after that was just like so intriguing until like I reached the vulture that was upside down, and it felt like it was like the last one. So I just like went with it because it felt very intuitive and divinely guided. So this is what I'm here to talk about today. So the first card that we got is the earthworm. And the earthworm represents this like magic within. And I feel as if so like I feel like we have this magic within, but we're really like shy and hesitant to like really step into it. But we know that this is like our calling, but like are really just like too caught up in like our headspace to like really like be like, all right, like I'm gonna go and do something that I've never done before, but just like go and do it anyways and like have confidence in myself doing it. We're kind of like stuck in this space of like not feeling confident enough to do it, but having the desire to do it within. And then the unicorn is really about like reconnecting with our like divineness and like understanding it's like we got that vision and we have this passion for something for a reason, because it's part of our soul's purpose. When we feel very attracted to things, they are very much so a part of our purpose. But it's like our purpose isn't what we're doing, it's like why we do it, like what the purpose is behind the thing. So it's like purpose can be manifested in a million different ways. So it's like part of your purpose can be to sing, but also part of your purpose is to like sing meaningful things, things that are deep and about emotions or something of that nature. It's like we're really figuring out like this magic that we feel within, that we've now tapped into, that we want the confidence to like embody. We're not figuring out like why, like we're like, wow, like this really keeps me connected to what is bigger than just myself. Then we have the tarantula, which represents like a crossroads, which I feel like we're probably, with this new moon, we're either going to step into like past karmic cycles again and repeat them, or we're going to go into new ones and just be like, no, like I'm done with that. Like I really want a new essence in my life. And like this tarantula represents a crossroads and kind of being in a space where like, okay, like which one do I want to do? But like this is a subconscious thing, so it's not like everyone's thinking like, oh, like I want to repeat my past, but like in essence it's like there's like this stagnancy. Because okay, so the Capricorn new moon and solar eclipse is like this portal into this new perspective on what progression is, because we perceive it in just this 3D material realm as just like money, income. But like in all reality, like when you get stuck in that space of like all like the purpose is the money, that's such stagnant energy. Like you aren't moving in perspective at all. Like it's all like, no matter even if you're like, oh, this is how I'm gonna make money, this is how I'm gonna make money, and that changes, it's still just about making money. And so it's like there's no depth to that. And it's really like this Capricorn new moon is like, yes, progress, but on an energetic level. Like how are we going to move our energy through new things? And this crossroads is really like, all right, like, do you want to focus on material gain, or do you want to focus on spiritual gain? Do you want to focus on experiences? Which we're really here to do is experience, not just have things, but experience things. And I feel that this is all about like dharma as well, which is the purpose of our lives. And I feel like in essence, everyone's purpose is to live their life in love. So it's like, let love guide you. Let love guide you on this choice. And also, the nightingale is about singing your truth and speaking your truth. And I really feel like the truth is your state of being and like how you're being within, and putting words to it and realizing that it has to do with your purpose, the way that you feel things. Like when we resist things, we resist things because that's not part of our path. That's not where we're supposed to go. And there's also a reason we feel things, and it's like important to put a voice to those things, or else we can't, like, how do we expect the universe within us to coexist with the universe outside of us harmoniously without there being a bridge? It's never gonna like go well together when this one's the one within is not spoken of and not acknowledged and not represented in the vessel that it's in. So it's totally important to speak your truth right now, and speaking your truth and acknowledging your truth within is really going to help you decide what way to go. See, like, this portal that we're going through is really about self-mastery. That's like totally what the line is about. But it's also super important when like we're stepping into this like new place of like self-mastery and really wanting to listen to like our life's purpose and like what's really calling us within. It's important to like not be like rigid on ourselves and to not like take this like new path too seriously, and more so drop into self-mastery and let it flow rather than like being so rigid. Like, I could easily be like, oh my gosh, I need to remake this video because I've stumbled on my words so many times, but I'm like, no, like, I just need to remember to drop in more and remember to take it slow and speak better and have that, like, the process be okay, and realize that like when things come up, it's really just to be processed and moved through and not to like be regretted and confined to. And that's kind of like just what this is all about, is really like believing and bringing peace into your situation, even though you're not necessarily at the destination of your journey. Like, bringing peace into the journey will only deepen the peace no matter where you're trying to get. It's like, if you don't bring peace into where you're going, where you're going isn't going to be peaceful. So that's why it's important, like, we don't have everything that we want right now, even though we can feel that it's all coming, because we're here to master ourselves right now. The raccoon represents magic within that's not being expressed. And a lot of the times we aren't expressing our magic because we're not confident enough to do so. So it's super important to step into a space of self-acceptance and self-love and self-confidence, because we can never grow unless we go out there and do it. But you can't even start doing it if you're not confident enough, at least in the process. Like, yeah, like if you want to go out and do something, like there's no way that you're going to be perfect at it the first time, unless like beginner's luck comes in, but then you're going to have to actually learn the skill afterwards. But it's like, this is all about like, who cares? Like, if you know that this is like passionate, like this brings you joy, like this is part of your soul's purpose, it's time to go out there and do it, because holding that within is like becoming weighted. Like, that's what like the oyster has to say, is that like you have this magical treasure within you, and it's becoming a weight since you're not expressing it, since it's not coming, you're not letting it come into fruition through you. You're like, no, this only stays within me. Like, I'm not actually going to act on it. Like, I'm not good enough to act on this. I'm not ready or whatever. Like, yes, you are ready. It's time to start the process. It's really time to start the process. And like the elephant is like inner wisdom and walking the path and letting like your inner wisdom guide you towards where you are supposed to be going. And the elephant, like, so this inner wisdom creates obstacles in places that you're not supposed to be, and it creates a smooth pathway on places that you are supposed to be. So pay a lot of attention to like what feels resistant, like what doesn't feel like it meshes with you anymore. That's probably something that needs to die and get let go of. And what something feels like flow, something that's attracting you, that feels like this light in this like in front of you, like follow that. And everything that like feels dark around you, like it's time to like get closure and move away from that. For example, like the elk, this is talking about how our personalities and our actions are like being recoded into like this, like very oriented around our morals and like our core being. And it's like we are just going to become way more authentic, raw versions of love of ourselves. And like, it's not going to be like, we're not going to be people pleasers anymore, because people pleasers don't love. They don't love. They play games when it comes to egos. Like, real love is truth. Like, if something doesn't resonate with you, it's more loving to tell them like, hey, like, I think it's better for us to part ways, than to have this love-hate relationship with someone where it's only like on like a good, like only when it's a good time do you like them. Like, no, that's not how it is. Like, there's no need to like be in those spaces anymore. Like, that is no longer serving you. Those are actual blockages. If you keep entertaining energy that doesn't just like resonate with you, and it's really just like this contradicting thing that you keep coming into contact with, it's like that's because you're willing to give it your attention. And so it's like, okay, I'm going to keep creating controversy and keep creating blockages and keep creating chaos in your energy because you're not being authentic to your truth, and you know that that doesn't resonate with you, but you keep on going back. And it's like, that's why it's important, like, no, like our actions and our personalities and what we do are becoming realigned more deeply with our truth. Which brings us to the crow. And the crow is sitting on this world, right? And he's like peering out. And this world is the bigger picture. Like, this new moon is really bringing us into the bigger picture and realizing that, like, this moment right here, right now is essential for the bigger picture. I just want to say, if this video cuts off, there's going to be a part 2, but it might not cut off, but it might. So the bigger picture is rooted in our present moment, so it's super important right now to be rooted in our present moment, because there's a reason that the material realm before us is the way that it is, and it's important for our consciousness to be present in this moment. Though, while being in this present moment, we're processing things that's like bringing acceptance to the past, realizing why that had to happen, its purpose, and also we have this innate feeling of like what is coming into our lives. We can feel this like magic that is we're keeping hidden within. We can feel this magic and it's coming. But it's important that before it comes into fruition in manifestation, we need to be it ourselves. We need to create this world ourselves. We need to become the magic before the magic really comes to us. And I literally said that at 11:11. That's how you know the spirit nods to that comment. And then the vulture. The vulture seems scary, but it's really like essential to this whole process, because we're really like, in order to be progressive energetically, we need to move through all the energy that we've already been in, like the energy that we've been stagnant in, like these past views that are keeping us confined, that make us feel like we have to keep this magic within instead of expressing it, like all those insecurities that keep the magic within, that everyone in the world wants to see, that knows that there's pearls inside, but they're like, wow, like I can't get this freaking shell open. It's like the vulture can get the shell open. Like, this is literally about breaking down this shell and cracking it open and really embracing the magic that we are, because we cannot live magical lives while we are pretending like we are not good enough for something. We can't live magical lives when we feel guilty and resentful or remorseful or have hatred towards something. Like, hate is stagnant, love is flow. Like, love is flow, and we need to, like, this is all about clearing our energy. This is all about getting all the things that are stagnant within us, such as insecurities, boredom, feelings of confinement, like insecurity again, like doubt, like not trust. Anything that's not trust is so stagnant. It needs to be cleared. Like, for this path, this magic that we know we have within, that is literally like so divine, the only way it's going to become fruitful in our lives is if we let go of all the energies that are not this divine, amazing, beautiful energy. Like, we literally need to let go of like all of that, like, and surrender to trust. Like, surrender to trust. Like, that's what like Capricorn energy is, so like progressive, but also so disciplined and so understanding of the process. And it's like, we need to surrender to the process, because yes, we have these desires, but the reason that our desires are not fulfilled right now is because we're not an energetic match. There's things we need to go within and heal before the visions that we have that have been exposed to us recently, that are now like lighting this fire within us and guiding the way. We need to become an embodiment of that essence. Like, we have to make sure that we aren't feeling lack in our physical moments just because the things that we've envisioned aren't in our physical moment yet. Like, it's all vibration. Like, the way that you're going to attract everything that you want is to be a frequency vibration to that situation. So that situation that you pictured, I guarantee you were a confident, open, loving, communicative, confident light being of love in that vision. But it's like, you're not that right now. Like, none of us are that right now, because none of us are living our purest, most amazing lives right now. Like this new moon is all about shedding. Like we are still in shedding season. Like come 2020, that's when the vision's going to be clear. That's when it's like, oh my God, like I've shed all this stuff. So now it's go time. Now it's time to actually do this. Like we are totally in a time of shedding all this stuff right now. Like shedding all of it so that we can finally become an embodiment. And then that's when we will start to attract. When we become an embodiment, like that's when like things are really gonna start laying out for us. That's when like when we decide to just like make the decisions and follow love and leave behind everything that doesn't resonate with us and really become like authentic raw versions of like our pure magic and living a life that represents that, that's not oriented around fear-based things and aren't keeping us in places that make us feel confined just because it feels safe there, when in all reality we're cutting ourselves off from our soul's purpose and trust in the universe. Because trust in the universe is the one thing that lets the universe know that you're open to your blessings. Like you cannot receive your blessings unless you are open and unless you trust that they are coming. When you don't trust, when you have doubt, you have things to clear. Because if you're doubting, there's no way you are ever going to receive what you were doubting you are going to receive, because you're like, facts, like I doubt that's happening. Well, it's not happening then. Like it's time to step into a space where you believe. Like divine masculine energy, we all have both. We all have feminine and masculine energy. Like divine masculine right now needs to take surrendered action, like needs to feel into their feminine energy, who the feminine energy right now really needs to fall back and trust and not be so forceful and not be like, I need this now, like like no, trust is what the universe wants us to be right now, because we're supposed to be progressive energetically, which means when we trust, that's an abundant flow. Like when we trust, there's nothing but abundance flowing in us. When we're trying to force things, that's rigid, that's stagnant. So when we become trusting and we feel divinely guided by something, then we step into that masculine energy and use our surrendered action that's in trust, even though that might be a fearful thing, because we're stepping into these new bodies and we're becoming these new embodiments of selves that we've never been before. So that's going to feel scary and unknown, and we're not going to feel comfortable doing it. But if we still take those surrendered actions and trust in the divine while taking action that feels divinely guided, literally we are going to be walking our highest path. Like we are going to be walking our highest path when we decide to take surrendered action and action and that is guided by trust. Like I literally repeated myself like 10 times, but it's like literally trusting and surrendering and having discipline and cleaning out your reality of everything that does not resonate with your highest path, and everything that you resist to, you continue to resist and move away from, because that's divinely guiding you to where you actually need to be. Once we trust in that discipline, once we discipline ourselves for the long-term benefit rather than short-term benefit, because as we know, short-term benefit a lot of the times is just feeding the ego, but we're here to feed the soul. We're here for a soul contract. If we were here for egos, that's why we all keep coming back to this place and having to redo it and suffer again, because we keep feeding the wrong thing. We keep not nourishing the soul. We nourish the egoic need for things, but like we really don't need things. So that's why it's important to let go of all the things that feel comfortable but feel confining and feel like they don't resonate and feel normal and don't feel like they have magic in them. Like accept that they have magic in them, but accept that their magic is showing you that that's not where your magic is meant to be. Like maybe that's the part of the magic that's going to come in later and be like, wow, like it's more of a karmic thing. So then you leaving is really the most authentic love that you can give something. It's like, it's time to really, really, really channel that inner wisdom and really, really trust in everything that you seem to know. You have to like kiss your penny, throw it in the water, and believe that like it's coming, and like align. You have to align with the vibration that you want your life to be. Like you literally have to. Like if you want your life to align in the vibration that you want it to be, you have to be that vibration. So it's time to ask ourselves, how am I not being that vibration? How am I doubting myself? How am I only being a fearful perspective of this dream? How am I wanting this dream to come through while all I am doing is here shitting my pants thinking about what it would actually be like to do that? Like, well, then you're just going to continue there in fear, shaking in your fucking boots, when in all reality you could be literally like out there trying to do it and doing it, and maybe you are still scared when you're doing it, but the minute you choose to do something anyways, that's when you transcend things. Like, we are here to transcend, we are here to ascend, we are here to step into higher vibrations, but that means we need to shed things that are no longer vibrations with us. That's why we're going through this new moon and this solar eclipse portal that is literally like, all right, now we're going into a space of energetic progression, because we've all been in this same mentality for the past decade of like, oh my God, like, do I look cool? Do I look cool? Okay, but how's your soul feel? Now we're like, okay, now the trend's like, how's your soul feel? And then, so now it's like, okay, my soul feels shitty. My soul feels confined. I'm not on my actual path. I thought I was trying to live safely, but I'm trying to live freely. But all I'm doing is living safely. And now it's like, all right, well then if we're trying to step into freedom, like it's time to step into freedom. It's time to shed everything that doesn't feel like freedom. It's time to shed everything that isn't aligned with my magic. It's time to shed everything that is not also on this ascension path with me. Everything that's not vibrating with me needs to go. And it's like, even if you are standing alone in a physical space alone and you're the only one who feels like you get what you get, like, you need to understand that you are connected to the divine, and you following what you actually want and like your true magic within, like, you are more connected than anyone else. Because you ever notice that it's like people all gather together, but then it's like no one's actually connecting to each other, but they're all just speaking like they do because they're all talking about things that everyone knows, but it's like no one's actually talking about how they're feeling. And there's no connection. It's like you decided to walk away from that fake connection to embrace real connection, and now you don't have any physical connection with you, but then now you're connected to the divine. Now you are connected to things that are deeper than this life, that aren't just going to die when you die. Like, this connection that you're stepping into when you start to embrace your magic and follow your magic and really believe in your magic and really embody a life that literally like accentuates that magic, like, you are creating things that are beyond this life. Like, you are tapping into the eternalness of this place that is beyond this human being, that is beyond your past life, that connects your past life to this life, like connects all humans together. Like, that is what you're connecting with when you follow magic and you follow your inner wisdom. You trust in Dharma and the law of love, and you trust in the fact that this oyster that you have within you is pure magic, and the world needs it. The world needs it, and you finally decide that you should sing it out loud and be this channel of light, and be an authentic expression of this channel of light. You will be on top of the world. You won't just have this world within you that feels like it can't be seen by anyone. You're gonna be standing on this oyster and everyone's gonna fucking see it. You're gonna feel it beneath your feet like it's your path that you're walking, because this magic within is your path. This is literally like where the moon guides us all the time. Like, this is what emanates from this creature that, yeah, they look deathly or whatever in this, because it's literally like this. When we decide to step into our true magic, we realize that we haven't been in our true magic, and the lives we've been creating haven't been in our true magic. So we have to let go of all these things. But it's like, look at this silver lining. Look at this color purple. It's like such a beautiful magenta purple that, like, do you see this? Like, he's radiating, and even though he's in pain, and maybe he's like, like I don't know exactly what's coming for me. Like I kind of am out here alone. Like there's this lining where it's like, but this is the freest I've ever felt in my entire life. This is what I've always wanted. And maybe I don't know exactly what's coming for me, but I have hope for what's coming for me. Like literally it feels like this world is coming for me. Like let this light lead the way. Even if I have to go through this darkness, even if I have to walk through all this doubt and insecurity that this light showed me that I had, but then I don't care, because once I choose a path of dharma, of love, this oyster is going to come into fruition. I'm going to sing. I'm going to follow my inner wisdom and become this mythical creature that's never been seen before, because my specific energy and my soul contract has never been signed before, and I'm the only one here to do it, and I'm literally out here doing it, and it's going to like make me different than everyone else around me, but not even like in a bad way, like in the best way possible, because everyone came here to be in their authentic self. But it's like there's this quote called same but different. It's like when you finally choose to be different, everyone realizes it's the same, because it's so intense that they're like, wow, like even though that's a different expression and I would never express myself that way, I feel that because they feel that. And when you really embrace that you fucking feel that, like it literally changes everything. Like when you start speaking your truth and living your truth of how you feel, like this is when you become the fucking lion. This is self-mastery, trusting in the unknown, trusting that this pearl within you is something that everyone would want, even though you just live at the bottom of the ocean. You're full of magic. This is when you, this is when you become the lion. This is when you step into your fucking kingdom. This is when you step into this reality that you've manifested with your magic. This is when the magic of reality that you finally decided to accept and embody and embrace and live out finally becomes so potent in your reality that you're convinced that this place is fucking magical, because it is. But we can't be convinced it's magical when we are using dark magic and we let the evilness of doubts and insecurity and thinking that only the famous people who are already famous can do anything that's magical and moving and influential and beautiful and full of heart and soul. You realize that it's you. Like as soon as you decide to progress energetically, as soon as you decide that you're like, yeah, like I'm gonna do nothing but move forward in energy and become more beautiful and become the most authentic version of my morals of love that I want to be, like my life will be nothing but love because I step into nothing but love. And like just I feel like it's so about like a trust fall of like embracing this new energy, that this new energy is going to love you. This new energy is going to love you and surround you and fill you like you've never been filled before. There's a reason so many of us are caught up in our past, because it was tormenting. And then there's so many, that's like, if something was tormenting, like why would we want to keep living it? Like that's why it's progressive energy, like progressive energy. It's time to move on. It's time to move forward. It's time to embrace that our past was not who we are, but it got us here, and it's time to embrace here, and it's time to embrace that we have the ability to create the essence of everything that comes into our future as it moves, as we move into it. And it's important that we become a motivator of progressive energy, because if we want a different result than we have experienced, then we need to create a new light coding for ourselves, which is literally coming in the stars. But the more we consciously choose to be aware of this, the more we can ascend, because the stars are literally catapulting us into a higher realm. So it's like if you are swimming, like you're gonna go higher, and it's like you literally, it's like choosing to be progressive, choosing to move through all the trauma, choosing to accept it, choosing love, roots you in the present moment. And as you, now that we're in the present moment and we've progressed through all this past trauma, coming into 2020, when our vision becomes like aligned, then we just get to create the love and like embrace the love. And it's so essential to just step into our magic and to just believe that our magic will be received. And it's not even about being received, but like the minute you know that you decide to know exactly what your magic is, people don't get to choose to receive it or not. They receive it because it's fucking real. It goes right beneath the skin. You're in everyone's skin when you're in magic, because they're like, wow, that's me. Like, you are me. And like, because you're choosing to realize that your differences that make you authentic, that make you stand out, are the same thing that flows through everyone. And that's why we came into this individuality, to embrace our individualness, but to realize the only way that we can embrace our individualness is by embracing the fact that we're all the same. And by realizing that we're all love and we're all magical, by realizing that you are magical, and choosing to flow towards everything that's magical, because not everything is meant to be with you. Even though it's all magical, you still have to walk this line, because you're a dot and you can only be so many spaces, and you have to figure out where to go, and you go towards what makes you feel love and what makes you feel free and what lets you express that magic, or it's really about you stepping into expressing that magic, and where it's received and where it's reciprocated, then you know where it is. But you can't even know where you're going unless you express that magic. So first of all, no matter where you are, you need to start expressing that magic, and then see how it feels in that environment. And you're like, no, like this isn't where I'm supposed to be. Then you're like, okay, now I'm gonna figure out where I need to go. I'm gonna follow my magic. Because all I want to do is be progressive in my magic and become more deeply magical and more deeply loving and more deeply confident in myself, because confidence in myself heals the world. And this is how I bring progressive energy into the world. Then everything's just going to start happening. Like, everything that you could ever want is just going to start happening as soon as you start believing in yourself and believing in your inner knowing. Like, believe in your inner knowing. It's so important to tap into that space of you that's eternal and believes, because that is your guidance. And everything that's doubtful, like, that's a reaction. Like, that's not progressive. That's sucking you back into the past. Like, your reaction is a reaction to the past. So to be progressive, you don't have a reaction to the past. You have an awareness of the present. So it's like, if we want to be our awareness of the present, then we need to clear our energy of the past and realize that we do have a reaction. We clear our energy of the past before we even make an action, because we want our actions to be rooted in our moral compass. And our moral compass can only be potent when we allow everything that is not love and all our insecurities and doubts to fall away, because we literally, every answer that we need, every answer that we've ever wondered about is within us. And it's time we listen to it, because listening to that is the magic. That is the interconnectedness of the world. That's us connected to the bigger picture, even though we're literally one little minuscule point of perspective. It's the bigger picture, and believing in our inner knowing, like, our inner knowing is the bigger picture. And the three-dimensional being is our perspective of the bigger picture. But it's like, for this perspective to feel fulfilled, if we choose to perceive the bigger picture, this perspective will just become more and more fulfilled, and we will expand as energy and be progressive as energy, which is what the Capricorn energy is all about, is being progressive. And as long as we can trust and tap into the unknown and believe in it, that it's only going to come into beautifulness, because that's what you want to put into it. And when you're tapping into that, like, your physical moment, no matter what's happening, like, isn't unfulfilling. Like, it's literally just beautiful magicalness that is like a part of a divine process. And like, every single step, even those moments when you're alone in your bedroom for a week straight because there's nothing to do, like, that's part of your magical process. And that will no longer feel like the end all be all of a shithole fuck. Like, it literally is going to be like, wow, like, now I'm learning how to give love to myself. Like, all of this is always just been about giving love to myself and like being love myself. And once I love myself, and once I choose to go towards everything that makes me feel like I'm making a choice for myself that is love, like, literally everyone else will benefit from it in my life. I'll finally step onto a timeline that is aligned with the life that I truly want to live in my deepest desired soul space. Like, we are like this Capricorn new moon, Eclipse portal is about stepping into this magical space and believing in it, even though we're this little tiny perspective that only sees this now. Falling back and surrendering and trusting in the bigger picture.